This is bothering me again. It wouldn't bother me if I was a boy though, because Travis Fimmel and Tom, two of my husbands, they both have this, and it doesn't bother me at all. Why does it look good on them, but it looks horrible on me? Like, I don't get it. I literally don't get it. Okay. They're talking about me behind my back in front of my back right now. And what the hell is that? Oh, it's my TV. It's like this nice, like nature music. I'm like, oh, okay, it's my TV making nature music. It just like turns on automatically. It's sort of Patti LaBelle today. I'm trying to change it. Okay, so look what I got, guys. I am now an alcoholic again. The signal comes in, but it's spotty. Oh my God. No, because sometimes I watch my videos back and I'm like, what the fuck is this bitch laughing at? That's why I over explain it in case I watch it in the future so I don't get angry at myself. Because the telepathy changes. Did you guys notice that? The telepathy changes, but I could probably ask myself and tell myself, but I don't know. I never tried that, but I can try that. I'm trying it with this. Okay, so I'm trying to explain things. I'm partly in my coma right now. And not too much happened today, but some things happened today. A little bit of things happened today. Ryan is noticing me yell at my students, and he's jealous. And I think I already told you guys like how I operate with the yelling at my students type thing or whatever. I kind of like give you time. I kind of don't want to like over describe it or whatever, but like I kind of give you time to kind of like readjust to your timeline, and then sort of intuitively, I don't like think about this like, oh, okay, is it time? Is it time? It's just intuitively, and then it's just intuitively, and I'll just give you like the tiniest, smallest backhanded compliment ever. Um, and then, see if there's like a response or whatever. Cause like I don't want anything like, um, the power shift is changing. You know what I mean? The power shift is changing as I reconfigure the earth to respect the true queen. And so the power dynamic is changing. And so, like, while we're transitioning, while the power shift is happening, while the transition is happening to me being completely in charge and everything, I don't want you to be like caught in the crossfire or like confused or, think that you have to shadow your mother or something like that or whatever. So that's sort of the way I handle it. And I guess Ryan decided to like yell at one of his students today. He got like a little upset at first, and he was like, "Well, why doesn't her students get upset?" They did. They used to get very upset with me. I'm pretty sure that's why the whole freaking world popped because nobody is used to me being like that. And so that's what we were telling Ryan today. Like it definitely took like 10 years, and we're still working on it clearly because it's the transition. But yeah, if that makes sense. It tastes like dirty cheese. It's called peach Bellini. It shouldn't taste like dirty cheese. There's 3.2 alcohol content. It's used to like I'm used to like 6 because of like wine. Wine is like 6 to 8, I think. So I think that was sort of like a biggish deal today. And then there was also oh my God, I'm so in my coma right now. I was meditating. So I was getting into the hypnagogic state, and it's probably 5D. That makes sense. It's probably like a 5D frequency, like a space frequency, because I don't feel held by space. Pretty much every single day, I don't feel held by space. So I think you guys are being held by space right now in a 5D frequency, and I have to meditate to get there. And I think that would be called what I call like the coma state or whatever, the hypnagogic state, the meditative state. It's like an altered state. And so I was meditating and I heard my dad come on the loudspeaker, um, basically like taking over the world. And I was like, cool. For some reason, when I say that, I get like a little bit angry, but that's probably because I'm mixing with people's whose timelines I'm clearing. Because I wasn't angry when I was like meditating and I heard him take over the loudspeaker, and I was like, awesome. He's starting to take over the world. Let me get up and get some food. And that's what I did. I think that's a good hairstyle. What do you guys think? I feel like my coma right now. I think you guys are arguing about like my dog's ownership, and it's making me really angry. As if like, I didn't have my dog for 10 years already, and like why would you argue about my dog's ownership if I had him for 10 years already? It's kind of crazy. And there's only one thing in the universe, and that would be me. And I'm like, of course you guys are trying to like make me even more upset and like fight over like my own dog. Um so it's so silly. Again, I'm not a human. I'm the judge. It's a little different. I own the place. You don't. It's not two women. You're like, well, didn't you say the Bible fucking story, whatever? Alyssa, this isn't purgatory. This is hell. I agree. This is hell. And it's making me go into a coma. Okay, there's no argument. There's only one thing. And it's like, I can't even believe I have to say this out loud. There's only one thing. It's me, Alyssa. And you know that. So there's no argument over who my dog is. Who owns my dog. I owned him since I've owned him for 10 years. So it's a silly thing to even contemplate or say. Sorry, we're getting confused. This is really not confusing at all. You're just making me super angry. I think you're trying to pull me out of my coma. That my father's putting me in right now. So it's like subliminal. He was saying, they're like, it's not subliminal. We hear it quite clearly. And I'm like, well, it's subliminal for me. I can't hear a thing, but I can feel it. And I feel like I'm in my coma. And I started to hear it when I was hypnotizing myself, called meditation. So it's whatever hypnotize. If you want to find out, like scientifically, maybe if we look up the hypnotize level, hertz, like what hertz it is or something. But I think it would be like 5D when you're space held. I think that would be 5D. That would also be considered not alive but dead, and that would, because it's heaven. 5D is the beginning of heaven. 4D is, the beginning of Ghostland, and 5D is the beginning of heaven. So that would officially mean you're living and also dead at the same time. And if you can hear my father, that means you're partially in a coma. It's my MK Ultra training that I can't hear it, but I can feel it in my plums. Jessica, I can feel it in my plums. Okay. Mm-hmm. Y'all. I kind of look like you right now. I think that means we're dropping from space to hyper real awareness hell. So I think those were the two things I needed to explain, was the yelling at our kids thing, and I'm proud of my girls. I'll say that. They did good this season, and I'm proud of my girls. All right, I'm proud of them. Okay, and they're allowed to get a little bit upset. I mean, when it doesn't seem like it's warranted, because I didn't know. I think maybe the timing was off. If I think about it, seemed like the timing was off. You know what I mean? You didn't do anything wrong. It was like a trick question. He's trying to dribble the ball around you. You know what I mean? It's sort of like that. I think that's what happened. That's why it was like a shock. It was like a shock. It was a surprise. You know what I mean? It's like you're gaslighting yourself to death. That's sort of what it's like. It's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like if you say you do something nice for someone, say you buy some flowers for someone or something, and you hand them the flowers, and they're like, "I think you need to check. I think you need to check your attitude." And you're like, "What? I just bought you some flowers. What do you mean I gotta check my attitude?" It's like that. I think that's why it was like caught him off guard. It was a little shocking. So you gotta work on your timing, Rion. Like I said, I don't just willy nilly say nothing to them. It's done intuitively. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Mm, yep, this the way go. But go the other way too. They said I post videos in the future where I just sit here, and I don't say anything for like an hour or something. I don't say nothing. That's advanced protocol. It's a little sweet, you know what I mean? It's a little bit sweet. I kind of don't want to have more than one because it's just like so goddamn sweet. Did I ever tell you that time? There was one time, I think it was this time I saw Orlando Bloom on Sunset Boulevard at Sunset Strip. I was probably about, I don't know how old I was. This might have been two different times. I don't know. It might have been the time I saw Orlando Bloom on the Sunset Strip. I'm not sure, but I saw Orlando Bloom on the Sunset Strip, and then I I went to Sky Bar. I went to Sky Bar, and we got these really sweet drinks. I don't remember what they were, but it was sugary. It was like a sugary martini, very sweet. And went with a couple of girlfriends, I think. And David Beckham was there with like an entourage or whatever. And somebody from David Beckham's entourage started buying us drinks. And so we really didn't think anything of it because he was with David Beckham. So like you don't really think like a guy that's with David Beckham is gonna roofie you. You know what I mean? But we ended up getting something that night, and I don't know if we got roofied or not. But I'll tell you what happened. It was crazy, and I can't remember how old I was, but or if it was just space codes going off. And maybe it was just space codes going off. But we yeah, I was sick, guys. I was sick. Okay, people get sick sometimes, guys. Okay, so we went to Sky Bar or whatever. Told you we're drinking these sugary drinks. This guy was buying us drinks, and then we ended up leaving with another group of guys, I think, and one was like a race car driver, a Formula One race car driver, and he started like hitting on me. Okay, so we're hanging out, and what I mean, like whatever, like 10 people or something like that. And I think we went back to that guy's hotel room, the Formula One race car driver hotel room. And it's like 10 of us, something like that. And we get there to the hotel and we're in the elevator. And yeah, I think I called this neon story on Facebook because I couldn't believe that what was happening. But it was probably space codes. But probably nobody roofied me. Probably no one drugged me. It's probably space codes. But yeah, we get out of the hotel room. We get out of the elevator in the hotel, and the carpet. It was basically like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The carpet started swirling. Right, the carpet started swirling, and my friends' faces. My friends' faces started like getting long and skinny, and then fat, and like I just started tripping balls like out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden, I was just like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like somebody gave me like like a hit of LSD, but I didn't take anything. And they were like, "Did you get roofied there? Like, what's happening?" And but it was like acid. It was literally like acid, but it must have been space codes just like popping for some reason because maybe this Formula One race car driver was trying to propose to me, and you know what I mean. He probably was trying to propose to me literally that night and like pull me out because he was probably being whispered to by my dad that she's a princess. We got to get her out of here. And it was sometime in my okay, let me see. It was like when I got my first like fun graphic design job, and that was like so I was like 30. I was like around 30. So yeah, I was around 30. And I met Orlando Bloom, who's obviously an elf, who's obviously a real elf on Earth, if you believe anything I say. And I met him that night. And I met David Beckham that night. And then I met a guy that probably wanted to marry me and propose to me that night. And he was a Formula One race car driver. I think he was from Italy. And yeah, space codes popped that night. It was like everything turned to acid. It was acid. And I think I called my parents that night and I was like, I love you. I think I've been drugged. I think I've been roofied. I don't know if I'm going to make it. But yeah. And the race car driver took care of me the whole night long. But yes, I got sick all night long, guys. I'm not joking now. I got sick, but he took care of me all night long. And I finally felt better. And I went home. And the race car driver kind of went crazy. And we know why. Right? Because he was already naming our babies in that hotel room. So, and then my space codes were like, the land of make believe. He started asking me all these crazy questions via text message. Can you chain smoke cigarettes? I said, yes, I can. He just started like being like crazy like that, like crazy. So that's why I think like I went crazy, and I think he went crazy right after. And yeah, so yeah, yeah. So that was a star-studded night for her. We're supposed to believe that this lonely girl had star-studded nights. I mean, if you are, you must be on my level. You must not be on the Colin level where you can hear Colin ripping through the sky right now, like everybody else. They're like, you can't hear that list? No, I can't hear, but I can definitely feel it. I feel like I'm in my Santa Barbara house. I feel like I'm in my Santa Barbara house because I'm in a coma. I feel like I'm chilling on my nice furniture with some flat floral arrangements around me. Um, Yeah, I didn't get much else from that meditation. I went for a walk today. I thought I struck out with a cigarette, and then somebody came in the clutch at the very end of the walk and gave me a cigarette. So what do you know? And then every time I smoke a cigarette, I'm like, I really don't like these. I don't really like these anymore. I used to like them. I definitely used to like them a lot. But once you find vapes, or once I found vapes, I'll speak for myself. Once I found vapes, I was like, I like a vape much better than a cigarette, and I like the pouches as well. But the pouches seem to give me anxiety now. Um, People aren't doing that in real life when you're imagining it. They're not. It doesn't correlate. It doesn't correlate. I know you want to be important lady in the Hunger Games, but it doesn't correlate. You will never get to be important lady in the Hunger Games. You will never get to be important lady in the Hunger Games. You will never get to be important lady in the Hunger Games. See, I just need I need a little clip, and then I look a lot better. But these things are getting on my nerves right now. They get on my nerves sometimes. You know, I'm 50, y'all. Okay? I was saying that today. I was like, I'm 50. Y'all are freaking comparing me to a 20-year-old. Does that mean I got 30 years of codes hidden from me? 30 years? Because y'all still comparing me to 20-year-olds? So does that mean there's 30 years of codes hidden from me? Because I don't have those milestones in my life, right? So is those 30 years of codes hidden from me? And like we're aiming to getting them back, right? I mean, we know none of this stuff's real or whatever, and I haven't seen a baby pop out of my forehead yet, so. But that's definitely one of the codes, that we're starting to get our hands on is a baby popping out of my forehead. Um, yeah, I give them time to adjust. Time to adjust, time to miss me. Um, I don't know. I mean, that's exactly seems to be what happens, because like then they're like, "Oh, I got to propose to her," and I'm like, "No, not if you don't got to propose to me if you're my friend." You know what I mean? If you're my friend, you don't need to propose to me, and then you're just my friend. You're allowed to just be my friend. But that's what I'm saying. That's propose to me in a different sort of way is what I'm saying. But some of them think they need to propose to me, and it's very awkward, and it's a very when they're supposed to be my friend, and I'm just like, I don't know why you think you need to do that. We think it's a joke, and then it ends up not being a joke, and we're like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? I thought this was a joke. What are you trying to tell? See. We're like, Melina, I think I need a little bit of Melina. Oh, I was going to say, I guess people at work last year saw Brandon walk into work. This is kind of crazy. Okay, Brandon walking into work, but let me go get another peach Bellini so that you believe me. That's so corny. I'm so sorry when I have those really corny ass jokes, guys. I really apologize. So, y'all want to yell at me over walls when I'm not even in front of your face? And like, yo, it's not even me who's yelling at you. It's probably Nora yelling at you, who hasn't even shown her face yet. Okay, we don't know a Nora on this timeline. So it's somebody you can't physically yell at, okay? But it's probably not me giving you an attitude problem. But you're taking it out on me, the real princess, yet again. Because you have issues. You have mental problems. Okay? Thinking somebody's yelling at you in telepathy, but thinking that nobody can hear you. You know? You keep thinking you're allowed to be rude to people, but people aren't allowed to be rude back to you. It's probably Nora. We don't know Nora yet. But you can't take it out on real princess at all, period. Okay? Everybody knows that. Why don't you know that? Your name is not Rion, so don't worry about me and Rion's relationship. At least Rion knows telepathy's real. And he doesn't gaslight me to death with freaking telepathy like some of y'all do. Again, do we care? Keep thinking to yourself if we care. If you're putting us through this horrible cycle every single year, and this horrible cycle is getting worse and worse and worse to the point that we are literally numb to these things that we're seeing on TV. We're numb to it. We're just like, you got to be kidding me. You know, it's not even that shocking to us anymore. That's how messed up you made our lives. So think again if you think we should care. So anyway, at work, I guess they saw Brandon walk in and like buy me lunch a couple times at work. Because like one of the coworkers put in an email. I'm not joking. She put in an email, and it was still like a bunch of people, but I was on the email. Obviously, it was like a group email at work, and she said, "Why do you come forward as a dead man? Why do you present yourself as a dead man?" In some like passive aggressive text to the whole office that I clearly saw. Why do you come across as a dead man? And I was like, she's talking about Brandon? So anyway, I think just like today, recently, I think it was just today, recently, where I heard over walls her say, well, we saw him bring her food a couple of times. He brought her lunch a couple of times into work. And so she decided to ask in the group email, but kind of make it nonchalant in case it made me uncomfortable. Um, but she wanted to address it because she was like, "Isn't he clearly dead? Doesn't everybody know that Brandon Lee is dead, even if it is her husband? So how is this possible?" Like she was basically trying to say, like, this is kind of impossible that her husband's Brandon Lee. Like, and yes, it was put in a company email, and it was an actual sentence, but it was like a company email to a bunch of people. So, like I said, it was kind of nonchalant, passive aggressive. And but she could like she could basically say like, well, I didn't want to make it awkward because like how do you say like your husband's a dead man? Like that's kind of weird, you know. But everything that we went through, but I didn't know she went through anything. But anyway, she seemed fine or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. At least she had the balls, the gall to kind of address it, I guess. And I was, and me and Brandon were thinking about it, and what we think happened was because I told you guys he basically lived with me last year. He was in my apartment a lot, but he was translucent. He was translucent. He was like a ghost. He wasn't fully realized, even though I know all this stuff is fake and he should be able to. It was like the space bubble kind of lost steam with the move, and like what they because they used to be pretty solid in the space bubble in LA, and he was less solid. He was more like an apparition, more like a ghost or whatever. He was obviously there, but he was more like a ghost. And I guess they saw him extremely solid at work a few times by like taking me out to lunch or bringing me, some food, bringing me some lunch or whatever, or some food for dinner if I stayed a bit late. I guess they saw that too. Um, Because remember, I kept asking, like, was he there, guys? Was he physical or not? Like, did I live by myself or did I live with my husband? And they couldn't decide. Remember? And so then this memory, I guess, I don't know. They didn't tell me this before. They just told me this today, I think. And I think what happened was is that you guys slipped down to level one as sort of a warning to yourself. I think you slipped down to level one as a warning to yourself as to like what's real and where you're going. And when you did that, you saw me in the future with Brandon, and or me in the past with Brandon. But it was supposed to be the people that want to say they own the earth and that want to say that they're the owners of the New World Order, um, and want to say like they're queen and prince of the New World Order or whatever. But they're their hopes and dreams were foiled yet again because they're fake as fuck and they're on strings. And we couldn't see, or it might not me, but my company couldn't see the people that are filled in on level one, which are the ancient Atlanteans who want to say they rule the earth because they're that stupid, um, and who already live there, basically. That makes sense to me. Again, I don't know if I'm explaining it well enough, but that makes sense to me. So, the whole company filled in level one those days that you saw Brandon bring me food or get me to take me out. The whole company slipped down to level one to let you know where it's going or whatever. And it wasn't real Brandon and me. It was our clones. it was our clones. But if we fill in level 1, it will be him and me. Um, it's the fake. It's our clones. So it's the fake versions of us. It's the copies of us. It's people that use my image in vain and my name in vain and Brandon's name and image in vain and think they're getting away with it to this day. And yeah, they're not getting away with it because we're listening in right now, aren't we? Oh yeah, keep saying you're not listening in and your face will start to pop out of the Channel 5 news. So keep being in denial that you're not listening in and you don't hear it, that I'm the special princess from space, connected and protected by Colin Farrell and crew. Keep saying that. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's not true. That's a fantasy. Keep saying all that kind of crap and your face will pop out of the 5 o'clock news. There he is. He's listening in. Like, that keeps happening. I keep seeing people that say they're denying it. People say that they're denying that they don't hear me say you're not allowed to hug me anymore. And then they try to go for a hug, and I'm like, I don't know why you're hugging me. I told you you're not allowed to hug me anymore. I didn't hear anything. Oh, really? You're not listening? What? Not listening in? Why is your face popping out of the TV then? There you are, right there on the TV. I think that means you're listening in. Don't be talking in telepathy over walls then if you don't want your face to pop out on the TV. Say you're not doing the things you're doing. But yeah, so level 1 started to fill in last year, and so did level 4, right? And so now it's level 5. And level 1, we also saw base reality this year, but I kind of think me and Colin go to base reality every year. And I guess that would be related to organic template. And then maybe it would be -1 next. Maybe Last of Us is -1. But yeah, isn't that crazy? A whole company can downshift in one day. You guys probably had a company powwow, picnic, team huddle, panic attack, and then the next day you went to level 1, and then it kind of calmed you down to see Alyssa with her husband. Oh, okay, we're safe. They're here and they're together. And then you went back up. You probably did that a couple of times. But it's like to let you know, like, you're going in the wrong direction, turn around. Okay.